This is going to be a demonstration of how to work a tail weave on the wrong side of your fabric in stockinette stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to be weaving a tail into the back of the fabric here as if you're finishing off a project and weaving in the end. And we're going to use duplicate stitch. The first thing we're going to do is though identify what is a stitch in knitting. And that's why I've worked this one row in a contrasting color so you can see the stitches in that row. In order to do duplicate stitch, you're going to be mimicking a stitch, so you need to know what a stitch is. You can see on the front of the fabric, if we stretch it out, the blue stitches make a V. There's the V, that's one stitch. If you stretch it, you can see that the legs come apart, and we can follow the path of this blue yarn. It goes up here, under here, and here. Then it comes back down here, and it goes under here, goes up here, under here, down here, etc. So we're going to now look at the other side of the fabric. What do the stitches look like on the reverse stockinette stitch side? Let's stretch them apart. We're going to follow a blue yarn again. Let's follow this one right here. It goes under the here, and here it is here, goes under here, across here, under here, across, under, across. That's the same maneuver that we're going to follow to make a duplicate stitch for weaving in the tail. You would use the tail at the top or the bottom of your work to weave in. We're going to use a contrasting color just so you can see what I'm doing. So we will identify a little area down here where we're going to use the duplicate stitch. It's best to not weave the tails in the very edge. If you're going to be working seams, they get in the way of the seam, and if it's not a seam, it makes the edge look bulky, or along the bottom. It's best to work it into the body of the work, and it's virtually invisible when you're finished. You'll see in a second. So first we're just going to identify a yarn that we're going to follow. Let's follow this one. It goes under here, across here, under, across. Let's stretch it out and look at it. Can you see how it's going? We're just going to follow that with our tail. We have got a tapestry needle. We're going to go under here and under here. Leave a little tail. And then we're going to go across here. You can see this is the thread we're following right here. And then it goes under this leg and this leg. So now we've made one duplicate stitch. Can you see how it's followed that white stitch? Now we're going to make another. So we're going to go under here and under here. We'll leave the little tail hanging out there. And we pull it to about the same tension as the fabric that we're duplicate stitching over. Now we've made two. Let's do one more. 3 is usually enough, and I'll show you some of the advantages to this duplicate stitch in a second, but 3 is usually enough to hold the fabric. These tails won't come out unless you purposely pull them out. So now we've made 3. And I'm going to cut those tails short. You can cut them leaving about 1/4 of an inch or less. Now watch what happens when I pull on the fabric. The stitches stay the same because they have the same stretchiness as the surrounding fabric. So let's say this was a sweater up at the top around the neck, and somebody's going to be pulling it off and on their head over and over. It won't come out. And you can see they don't show through the front of the fabric. You can see a little bit of that blue, but if this were white, you wouldn't be able to see it at all. Looks virtually invisible. If you like my videos, there's a little icon down in the bottom right corner. You can click on that. It takes you to my main channel page where you can subscribe to my channel. And be sure to share my videos with your friends. Happy knitting!